Boy, oh boy, do I love DRM. There's nothing better than buying a software product that's severely hindered by anti-tamper DRM. I love it.
I love it.
You spend $60 of hard-earned money on a video game on your PC and want to play it anytime, anywhere, but unfortunately you're experiencing a temporary internet network outage? Guess you're not playing your game today. Your DRM has to make sure you're always online. Do you have an older game that was made with DRM by a company that no longer exists? Then guess what? Unless you find a workaround for that old outdated DRM, you're not playing your game that you purchased. DRM, it sucks ass, always gets cracked, and it's completely pointless. I can't stand it. Skip it up and that up. So a while back, I remember when Denuvo DRM was first launched for PC games, it was touted as the DRM that could not be cracked. It was invincible.
I am invincible!
It was the first digital rights management software that will truly protect games from developers and publishers. And I was just like, all right, let me look at my imaginary watch. I guarantee you Denuvo will be cracked in 3, 2, oh, look at that, it was already cracked.
I am invincible!
And it was. It went from games being cracked within like a month or two to days. And every time they implemented Denuvo, someone found a workaround. And you know what? Personally, I never used any of the cracks for Denuvo, but I understand why people hated it. DRM is a complete waste of time. And it puts the software that you spend your hard-earned money on in shackles, and it's really, really frustrating. Well, Denuvo wants to send a clear message to hackers who hack their DRM anti-tamper software. If you find a way around Denuvo, they're going to take legal action against you, because if they can't make their DRM unhackable, they'll just come after you, because that'll work out well. Well, one of the more prominent Denuvo hackers is Voxy. He's a Bulgarian hacker who has found workarounds for the Denuvo anti-tamper DRM. And he was a big critic of Sega using Denuvo with Sonic Mania for the PC. And if you remember, Denuvo caused issues with the PC version of Sonic Mania where people just couldn't launch the game. And that's pretty annoying. You just go out and buy a game and it won't launch due to DRM. That would make me angry. Now, what's interesting too is Voxy was one of the key players in figuring out Denuvo's DRM because a ton of other hackers tried and they couldn't do it. So he stepped in and he found a way to get around it. Well, Denuvo has finally had enough of his evil hacking ways and they forced him to take his website Revolt down, and they are taking legal action against Voxy now. Police actually came to Voxy's door and this is what he had to say about it on Reddit. It finally happened. I can't say it wasn't expected. Denuvo filed a case against me to the Bulgarian authorities. Police came yesterday and took the server PC and my personal PC. I had to go to the police afterwards and explain myself. Later that day, I contacted Denuvo themselves and offered them a peaceful resolution to this problem. They can't say anything for sure yet, but they said the final word is by the prosecutor of my case. Now, Denuvo's parent company, Erdetto, released a statement about what happened, and this is what they had to say. Following an initial investigation by Erdetto into the hacking of Denuvo anti-tamper software, the findings were passed to the Bulgarian Cybercrime Unit and resulted in the raid on a premises in Dimitrovgrad, Bulgaria on Tuesday. Now, Voxy said due to all this, he's not going to continue trying to tamper with Denuvo anti-tamper DRM. He's hoping that someone else will continue finding a workaround, but his hands are tied and he's giving up. I don't blame him. So I'm going to make a statement now that's going to sound a tad hypocritical, but remember, context and nuance are key. Not everything is black and white. In different circumstances, you have to take everything by a case-by-case basis. Now, I've used this example before where people would argue, where I would talk about tighter gun laws, okay? And people will come back and say, but laws don't prevent crimes. You know, there's still going to be people who do bad things with guns. And I remember thinking, and I always say back to them actually, is that's like saying there shouldn't be laws in the books that make bank robberies illegal or murder illegal. Okay, yes, people are still going to commit bank robberies and murders, but if you have laws in the books, it'll prevent people, a certain amount of people, they'll think twice about it because they don't want to spend the rest of their life in prison or worse. That's why the laws exist. It's not going to stop all crimes, but it will hinder them, and it will make a lot of people think twice about committing them. But when it comes to DRM, it's different, man. It's first off, on the consumer side of things, you're punishing the consumer who's being an honest actor, spending their hard-earned money on your product, and you're putting a leash around your product. You're putting your product in this walled garden that hinders the person who purchased it from doing what they want with it. I'm not talking about piracy and giving free copies to everybody. Like, I'm saying someone bought, like, say someone owns multiple PCs. This used to happen to me with EA games. I bought Dead Space and I wanted to put it on a multiple gaming PCs I had, and then EA wouldn't let me do, oh, you put this on too many PCs and you've used your code too many times. And I'm like, but I just want to use the game I bought on a PC that I own. I'm not giving it to anybody. I'm not spreading it around. And that's when people get pissed off. Or when people bought Sonic Mania and had a Denuvo on there and they couldn't get the game to run because Denuvo wasn't working properly. And that's not fair to those people who rightfully bought the game, did not pirate it. They're being punished for the small percentage of people that pirate the games. It's the bad apples ruining it for the bunch. And that's why people get so angry at DRM. And when it comes to DRM, do you think that it's really going to end with Voxy? Okay, he's arrested, he's put in jail, or he's sued, or whatever. Do you think that someone else isn't going to take his place? And it's just different. Guns can end lives. DRM is just a hindrance to everybody that doesn't prevent software from being pirated. The only people it hurts are the ones who actually purchase it. And it's always cracked. I remember, like I said, Denuvo used to brag that they were unhackable. But guess what? Someone found a way. Oops. And the only people that end up being punished, Denuvo and all these companies that implement Denuvo like Sega, is the people who go on Steam or wherever the case may be and buy your games, who give you the money. You punish them. The pirates are going to pirate your games no matter what. They don't give a crap. And a perfect example of companies who don't believe in DRM who still make a killing is CD Projekt Red, the developers behind the Witcher series. They don't use DRM, and guess what? People are more appreciative of them and want to give CD Projekt Red their money because they care about the customer. But I know this is falling on deaf ears because a lot of these companies love DRM because the investors are a bunch of out-of-touch old men with a lot of money who think it will protect their product, and they will never learn because they don't care. All they see is dollar signs, and it's very frustrating. But Denuvo, if you think this is going to end with Voxy, you got another thing coming. Someone else will figure out your anti-tamper DRM and it'll still be cracked. So you're fighting an uphill battle, and to be honest with you, it's a waste of time. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
I love it.